And we are live, Lilith, in the fifth round today. We had a crazy day of chess yesterday. Not just here, we went Aravindh and Pragg won. Pragg, by the way, what a game he played.
What a game! Very impressive.
Yeah, he
Very
played for
impressive.
5 hours in that very
more than
more
five,
than 5
more
hours.
than 5 hours. Yes.
And both of us thought that it's going to be a draw, but he's finally managed to win. But
he found that way, right? The G3, King
G3.
H3, King G4.
Yeah.
This was amazing, actually.
Yeah. And besides that game of Aravindh and Pragg, we also had some crazy news yesterday where Gukesh defeated Magnus in that
Yes.
incredible fashion.
Yes, this was also amazing, of course.
So, I think the whole chess,
So many emotions.
so many,
right?
yeah. I think
So
the whole
many
chess world is
emotions.
still kind of trying to internalize whatever happened yesterday. But we have more games today.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, you can see the standings here. Below our cameras, Aravindh is leading with 3 out of 4. Kollars, Pragg, and Hakobyan are on 2.5 out of 4. And then Sevian is on the 5th spot with 2 out of 4. So, a big game today between Sevian and Aravindh.
Yes, big game today. And actually, still 5 rounds, right? And everything can happen.
Yeah, everything can happen.
Everything can happen.
And can we just quickly go to the starting position and see how
Yes.
this happened?
Okay.
E4,
So, Samuel played E4.
E4,
right? And again C5,
C5,
by
yeah.
the way. Again, we have Sicilian. Nice.
Knight
Mhm.
F3,
Knight
Knight
F3, and
C6.
again Knight C6.
Yeah, so this seems to be very typical in this tournament.
Yes, exactly. By the way, for the second time,
Mhm.
Aravindh goes for this, right?
Yeah, he allows bishop
He
b5.
allows bishop b5.
Knight
yes.
f6
And
played
knight
this time.
f6. Okay.
And of course, I think all the viewers know that e6 and g6, e6 and g6 are the two main moves in this position. e5 actually has started to become very trendy, but knight f6 played by Aravindh, slightly rare.
Yes.
Takes.
I remember knight f6, Caruana played, right, in candidates.
Yeah,
or
no,
not,
knight
if I'm
f6,
not
you're right. No,
mistaken.
knight f6 has been definitely played a lot at the top level.
But recently.
Recently,
right?
Yeah, recently, actually, not many people are taking this knight on c6. They are going for this d3 setup. But Sevian is like, okay, take d3, queen c7.
By the way, very quick, right? Quick decisions.
Yeah, I think this is just the fifth move, so the players definitely are in preparation. And queen c7 is trying to go for e5. Lilith, a4 played.
Okay.
e5.
And now e5.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is our actual position, right, Raja? Okay, so e5.
And guys, hello to everyone who are just joining in. Today is the fifth round. Aravindh has taken the lead and Sevian with the white pieces. If he wins, he's going to join the leaders actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I said everything can happen.
Everything can
right?
happen in this
5
game.
rounds still. So, yeah. So knight f3. By the way, Samuel played quite quick, right? Knight f3. So let's understand the ideas.
So
Raja.
in this position, of course, white wants to go knight c4, a5 and kind of establish the knight on c4. After that, very often white goes for bishop. By the way, h3 is a very, very normal move. You're stopping black from going bishop g4 and taking this knight. So I expect after knight a4, I'm expecting maybe something like bishop g. It's
G4.
possible for sure. If here, I'm considering if this, but maybe in this position, it's quite good for white because this pawn on e5 somehow, after queen g3, knight c4
Knight
feels
c4,
weak.
maybe it's very concrete.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe very concrete. Yes, exactly. Knight c4, queen g3.
So knight a3, Lilith, the other idea for black in these kind of positions is to go for
Knight
this
d7.
knight d7, f6.
Right.
And
somehow bring the knight, then somehow develop this bishop, right?
Yeah,
Knight f8 and
exactly.
knight e6
Yeah.
coming to d4, right?
Exactly.
So, typical idea for such kind of positions. Yes,
Wow.
so knight f3 actually played quite
very fast,
very
kind of
fast.
2 minutes of
yes,
thought.
yes, knight f3, and let's see. Actually, Aravindh is taking his time to decide the setup. This is very important, right?
Yeah, very important. And he's thinking actually in this position. Sevian got up from his chair. Bishop e6 is another idea.
Okay.
And after that, white can somehow respond with queen e2.
Preparing
Knight c4.
right?
we definitely after bishop e7, knight c4 don't want to take this knight on c4 somehow, because dc4, and I feel like these positions are very pleasant to
You
play with
prefer
white.
white.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because this
Okay.
bishop is just very, sad, because the pawns on c5 and e5 are restricting its mobility. Knight h4 can come at some point. So knight a3, and now Arvind needs to find a good setup.
Good setup, yes.
And oh,
Actually,
he plays
bishop
it. He
e6
plays
has
it.
been played.
Okay.
Yes, your setup, by
Yeah.
the way, your move. Yes, but I think queen e2, what you suggested, I really like this move.
Queen e2?
Yes, I like this move. Very very natural. We want to play knight c4 because if now we play knight c4, I think it's not good, right?
Yeah.
Raja.
Guys,
Because e4 is
e4 is
hanging.
hanging now.
Yes,
You cannot do this.
So this we see that knight e4 now is
Yeah.
a problem for white. That's why I'm expecting honestly queen e2. And
Queen
what-
e2, knight
what do you
g5 is another idea actually in these positions, so that the bishop goes back and then white goes knight c4, h6, and comes back knight f3 to put pressure on this pawn. Before we talk more, guys, how are you? I'm doing great. Any comments on Gukesh ka game? Sahil Rana asked Lilith, do you want to start first? Any comments on that game?
On the that game, crazy one, right? But you know what was surprising to me, that Carlsen having such position.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's winning such positions like fluently,
Yeah.
right? But yesterday something has happened. I mean, Gukesh caused such problems for him, and
I
in
don't-
time trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a crazy, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how
crazy.
to describe it, guys. Of course, Magnus was completely winning, and
He was
he was
completely
very.
winning,
I mean,
yes.
he was not angry. You can see from the video, he was not angry at Gukesh. He was just angry at
with
himself.
him,
Yeah,
yes,
because
of
we
course.
saw his nice gesture. He tapped Gukesh's back, saying "Well done," and like he had nothing against him. It was just like he was angry at himself. But yeah, guys, insane moment. If you haven't seen,
Yes.
Sagar has made a very nice recap video about it
Yes,
also.
you should see this. You should see this. Actually, whole internet now is about
It's talking about it, yeah.
about that.
Okay, so
yes.
bishop e6, and now Sevian is thinking it will be interesting to keep a close eye on this game as Arvind is leading. Maybe we can quickly check what's happening with Praggnanandhaa also,
Okay.
who won. I will just get the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, here we have it.
So what do we have here? By the way, again we have e4, and again we have Sicilian. I'm very glad.
Yeah, Sicilian.
I'm very glad.
But
Sicilian
this
is
time,
very popular in our tournament.
this
Very-
time Pragg goes for the e6 move, which
E6.
hasn't been seen that much in this tournament. D4, CD4, knight D4, knight C6, knight C3.
And
Again knight f6. Guys, yeah, two knights.
Already free time, right?
I think, Lilith, we have to start this opening with black.
We should study seriously, because yes, if I mean such players are playing, right, this variation constantly, it
Yeah.
means that it's really worth to study.
Yeah, no, bishop, knight f6, bishop
Bishop
e2,
e2
and d6
and
has
now
been
d6.
played.
Okay, so classical Scheveningen.
Classical Scheveningen, but again, it's clear that Pragg feels very comfortable with this position. Again, he has a time lead, and I do think,
As
Lilith, that
usual,
this
as usual.
puts a lot of pressure on their opponents. Again, he gets up. I've seen this pattern, he's well prepared. He's putting pressure on the clock on their opponent, and he's just like relaxing in the meantime.
Yes. And what do you think, by the way, here, Raja? White will go for long castle or short castle? Of course, it may be short castle, right? It's more
Yeah,
typical here when after bishop e2, yes, bishop e3, and then short castle. Because I noticed recently this idea, right, with bishop e3 and then queen d2 and even long castle became popular also,
Yeah.
with long castle.
We actually had a game in this tournament where White had played a3, bishop e3.
Yes, but yes, you are right. This was Bjerre Hakobyan.
Exactly.
You're right. Yes, a3 move has been
a3 was played, but it transposed because bishop e2, bishop e3, and queen
Queen
d3
yes,
was
this
played.
stuff.
And Hakobyan was better, but he drew that game. d6 and castle, this has happened
This
on
has
the board.
happened.
Yeah.
Yes, this has happened.
So I think this game is just, normal Scheveningen. White wants to go bishop e3, queen e1, and f4 somehow.
Right? Yes, this queen g3 variations,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay, bishop e7, by the way. We have classical
Yeah,
Scheveningen.
bishop e7 played.
Yes, bishop e3, I think. Right? Bishop e3, we are expecting castle and f4 now, right?
Yes, something
is-
like this would
this
be
is
very, very typical.
very typical.
So-
F4, and as you said, then
Queen E1,
Queen E1,
Queen G3. Yeah.
G3. Mm-hmm.
So after bishop E7, I will just actually update this camera so that we can have the board and the position live there. Yeah, and there we have it actually. Bishop E7 played by Praggnanandhaa again very quickly, and Kollars slightly. He seems actually slightly, ill there actually. I'm not sure if his health is good. I hope he's doing okay because it feels like Kollars is a bit tired here, no?
Yes, could be. Could be. But of course, we want to see all our participants fit
Of course,
in a good shape,
Yeah.
and because we want, yes, to see them healthy,
Yeah,
to
that's the
fight.
most important, of
That's why
course.
we are here,
Yes.
right? Yes.
And okay, guys, Praggnanandhaa doing well. He's prepared, and I think we have to wait to see how this opening develops. Let's quickly also check.
Yes.
Yeah, Hakobyan.
Because he's
Yes.
actually he's only half a point behind, right? Our leader. Okay. Let's see. We have C4 from Benjamin Gledura. So C4, E6,
G3, D5,
and Bishop G2.
Yeah, this reminds me of the World Championship games between Ding and Gukesh.
Exactly. And I think here also, right? Gukesh went for D4. D4 he went, right?
Yes, he played
he
D4.
went for
Exactly.
He went for D4, and now knight F3, and again knight C6. I think Gukesh also
Yes,
went
all
for
of this has been
Yes.
seen in the World Championship match actually. D3.
And now D3. Okay. Actually tricky move, right?
Yeah, but
tricky move order.
But I think this also after bishop b4 check, we try to go bishop d2 here. We provoke bishop d2 and then a5. Very nice idea, because if white takes on b4 with the bishop, we take with the a pawn, and now the rook on a8 suddenly has very good potential on attacking the a2 pawn. The rook can also come to a5 at some point, by the way. To support this move e5.
That's why actually white doesn't want to take on.
He's like no trading.
No trading. And also here, Raja, by the way, because this position I play with both colors actually. Why I said d3? Because once my opponent, Nino Batsiashvili, she tricked me with this d3 move, I was not familiar and I didn't check here. The idea was on the next move somehow to play e4 and get this
nice setup, yeah?
Nice setup, yes. Something like this. That's why d3 move can be
tricky
one. Yes, can be tricky one. And I think bishop b4 is
good,
good one.
And if you see the clock, Hakobyan definitely knew this. He instantly blitzed out bishop b4. After bishop d2, a5 was also blitzed out by him. And knight a3, knight f6 has been played. Benjamin is the one who has actually been taking his time, whereas Hakobyan is very well prepared.
All right. So knight a3, what is the idea of this move? What do you think?
It's clear that white wants to go knight c2. And this will not only put pressure on the bishop, but also the d4 pawn. Also, because the knight is on c6, I might even consider knight b5, Lilith. And then try to, after castles, go bishop f4 and suddenly put pressure on this pawn.
Right.
So it's just a flexible move.
Flexible move, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with you. I honestly, in such kind of positions, I prefer your first idea.
Knight c2.
With knight c2, because then I want to play a3 and b4, this typical break, right?
Yeah.
Yes. This we are expecting very complex game.
And actually, I'm very interested to see how this game proceeds, because of course Benjamin and Hakobyan in university, they were in the same university in Webster, so they are good friends.
Good friends, right?
And I'm very curious to see if it will be a peaceful result or they will fight.
No, I think they will fight.
Yeah.
I think they will fight. Like Pragg and Aravindh, they are very good friends.
Yes.
But
Pragg Arvind made a draw.
Quick draw, by the way.
So,
yes.
Knight f6, and here Benjamin is taking his time. We have 2 more games. We can just quickly check what's happening in those games as well.